Hello, welcome to this side of YouTube. I am Nikki, and today we are drawing a comic together, I guess. Yes, howdy, welcome. It's a video. It's been a while, and this is probably something you didn't expect, but here we go. And also, I'm playing around with a new format of doing things, so if you don't notice anything, then whatever. Whoops. But if you do notice something, just ignore it. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing. So this is the Fabled comic series. Well, not really, sort of, but it's a comic series. I'm excited to get into talking about it. And this whole series is for a contest that is being hosted by an event, I think. I don't know the specifics. I just know it's a contest and I want to win. So I decided to take the comic route of doing things. So basically how they have it set up is you can either write a short story or draw a comic. And since I was trying to focus on getting better at comics, I decided to go that route, if that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I was about to do the short story route because I already did a short story for one of my classes, but you know, I wanted to get off my butt and actually do a comic instead of talking about doing a comic all the time and actually, you know, get going. So this is what this is. And yeah, it really helped me, like, this whole contest. I'm not even done, but it's really been helping me to just stop procrastinating and to just do it, you know? Like that one meme that's not been mentioned for literal years, but that's just me. Anyway, this is the first page of, I want to say I'm doing 16, but I don't remember, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it until it comes out. So I'm thinking 16 pages in the whole comic, so this is 1/16 of the whole thing. It really puts into perspective how long my long-term comic is gonna be, because just planning out these 16 pages had me so, I don't want to say stressed, but it took a lot of time. So the long-term comic is just gonna be a whole journey. I can just tell already. And I'm not gonna post all of my speed paints here on YouTube of all of my pages. I might post like speed paints on like Instagram of like what Procreate does, but I'm definitely not going to post like full long-term long form videos on here, if that makes sense. And that's the plan. It took a lot of time for me to get this sketch right. I'm still on the sketch, right? Yeah, I should still be on the sketch, but it took me a lot of time to get the sketch right since I'm not used to drawing from not full bodies, if that makes sense. I like drawing full bodies. I can tell the perspective of what things are where, if that makes sense. I think I'm going to talk about this when we cut back to me drawing in real time. So that's confusing. I don't know. I'm trying out a new format and I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyways, I like drawing full bodies, period. And the sketching was just not it. I made a thumbnail and everything. I did the thumbnail twice and it just wasn't turning out. Because trucks. I can't draw trucks. I can't draw the interior of cars. I can't draw cars, period. Mechanical things, can't do them. And yeah, I think that's all I have to really talk about this portion, because I talked about it more in real time while I was drawing the sketch and I was complaining how much I hated it. Cut back to previous Nikki talking about that. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with my basic sketch for the first page, unless I decide to change something, which will probably happen, more likely than not. And it's turning out okay. I've changed up a lot of things from when I first started sketching, but I think it's for the better. It's turning out decent, I guess. I'm not sticking to the plan that I had already decided to go through with, so I'm sort of winging it right now, which is something I did not want to happen, but it's turning out better than what I've already planned, so I guess that's good. And it's really hard I'm not gonna lie, I'm struggling so much, especially with the interior of the car. Like, what is this? How do people draw cars? It's so hard. And also the second panel where the main character is like getting out of the car. I mean, you can't really tell from where I'm sketching right now, but it's so hard to draw cars. I dislike drawing cars very much. It's not really fun, but I'm managing. And here in the last panel, I guess that would be the easiest one. It was the easiest one for me to do because I know how to draw characters more than I know how to draw cars. So yeah, but this pose itself is very hard because I've never been able to draw somebody looking down at their phone, but I'm getting there. I think I'm getting there. I think this is pretty dang close. I just need to fix his legs a little because they kind of looking a little broken here, not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm gonna move on to hopefully the final stage of my sketch, and yeah, I'll see you when I get that done. Okay, so now moving on to the process of making this. Now you're gonna need to stick with me for a bit since it gets pretty confusing. So basically what I did first was write out the whole comic, of course, since I'm like that. I like to plan out my stuff, and it's a really good idea to plan out your comics because it's a lot of work, and if you mess up on something really insignificant near the end, you'll regret it. Okay, and yeah, I did the whole script, and then I did the thumbnails. Now, basically, for people who don't know, thumbnails are basically really tiny sketches of the actual pages or drawings or whatever you're doing. So basically, a miniature version that you can change really quickly, that doesn't have a lot of detail and helps you with composition and stuff like that, and panel layout and page layout and things like that. That's basically what it does. So I did that twice, and thumbnails take a really long time because you have to actually think about what you're doing, and it's a lot of mind work and changing things and thinking, no, this is better, no, actually maybe I'm just dumb, maybe it looks better this way, maybe she should be turning left instead of right, things like that. So it takes a while, and I did that twice because the first one wasn't good. I'm not gonna lie, it was quite bad. So I thought might as well just do it a second time to make sure that I don't mess up royally on this and regret it for the rest of my life. But I digress. Anyways, the next thing is how I actually drew it. So after I did the thumbnails, I went over to Medibang, and it's an app on like the iPad, and you can also install it on PC and Mac, I'm pretty sure. I don't know about Linux. I don't know anyone who uses Linux, but if you do, you'll have to figure that out for yourself. And I laid out the panels in Medibang because it's much easier to use than Procreate. Like, I love Procreate, but panel layouts there ain't really that easy. So in order to make them uniform and real easy to do, I just went over to Medibang. And mostly what I can say is that for comic stuff, Medibang is probably the place to go. You're probably wondering, hey, Niki, if you recommend Medibang so much, why are you using Procreate? Because I'm dumb, that's why. I'm really hyper, I don't know why, sorry. So I switched over those panel layouts from Medibang to Procreate. And then in Procreate, I did my initial sketches, which you saw me doing before and struggling and crying about. And then line art and then coloring, all the basic stuff. It's pretty basic the rest of the way. And while making the files, I had to switch around some things to make sure that it will be able to print, because for my comic, I will need to print it since I need to submit a paper version and a version online. So I needed to change the color scheme. Is it a color scheme? I don't know what you call it, but you know how printers print in like CMYK and your screen is like in RGB sort of thing. I needed to change something up. Oh, it's called a color profile. I needed to change that up, whatever it is. So I did that, and then I had to change the DPI to make sure that it would print crisp and clear. And I accidentally changed the DPI to be like too large. Since I have the like basic entry level iPad, it can't handle a lot. Not gonna lie, she's kind of struggling in all areas, but she's trying her best and I appreciate her for that. But she can't really handle a lot of large files in Procreate. So I was limited to about 14 layers, I'd like to say. That was my max canvas size, and I was kind of worried when I finished everything because I was thinking, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't have a lot of layers to work with, but I'll fix that next time around and just not do a DPI that's too big. Anyway, lesson learned, and I live to tell the story. And overall, I'm really happy with the line art of the drawing. I mean, I'm happy with how it turned out all around. I still need to work on my coloring and like my color theory, which is something I'm working on. But overall, the line art, chef kiss, very good, excellent. It's exactly what I'm looking for, not gonna lie. I wish I could just leave it as line art and then submit that without having to color it, but you know, it is what it is. I can't just rely solely on my line art and just cheap out on my coloring skills because I need to improve those too. Okay, now, I don't have a lot of actual footage of me drawing. No, I don't have enough actual footage of me coloring, I think. Because for me, mostly coloring is pretty basic. It's just lay down your flats, do a multiply or colored burn or something layer in like a purple or something. Especially for comics, I just have to make it simple because it takes too much time to single-handedly pick out a bunch of different colors. So I just make simple overlay layers to make it much easier for myself. I didn't really record that much because, not gonna lie, I didn't really feel like editing that much footage again. Since my Julius video, I had a lot of footage to edit on that one. Like 11 hours is not fun to edit out a bunch of stuff. So I just decided to do it easily and just get a bit less of extra things, if that makes sense. Like I said before, I'm not posting all of my pages here on YouTube, but I'll post them somewhere once I figure out stuff. And I might post more pages later on YouTube. Of course, this won't be the only one. I was planning at least doing first page and last page, and then maybe later doing like a comparison on like what I went through or something like that, you know, content, quality content. And the same thing happened with Inktober, where I wanted to get like all of these drawings compiled in a single video, and I just found that I don't work well that way. So I don't really want to make the same mistake twice and get all this footage recorded and not be able to use it and feel guilty about it for like weeks. So yeah, that's the plan, that's the situation, that's the scenario. Okay, I need to take a breather. I have 3 comics planned out. So the one comic that I've been talking about for like months on this channel isn't this comic. This isn't the comic that I've been raving about. This comic only came about like last month probably. So the one I've been raving about is the one between Lilac, Summer, Damien, and Leo. And I'll make videos on them sometime in the late future. Not foreseeable, but we'll see. And there's another comic that not a lot of people know about. I've posted 1 picture on my Instagram of the main character, and that's it. Like, next to no one knows about this. It's because it's not really fleshed out. It's just like a small, haha, that'd be fun to do kind of comic or idea. And I'm even thinking about just turning it into like a novella, you know, heavy emphasis on the air quotes, or a short story, you know, just writing it in prose. And that's kind of what I'm debating on that one. The first one is definitely becoming a comic because I already did all the work to make it a comic, and I'm not really backtracking on all that work I did for nothing. And the third one is this comic. A little like premise, I don't know the word, like a little blurb about what it's going to be about is that it's going to be short, first of all, and it's going to be for a contest. I already said that. And it's going to be a fantasy-based thingamabobber. You know, it's gonna have mermaids, so fantasy, I guess, and it's gonna be in the middle of the Pacific. I know you're probably thinking she's really like copping out here on the settings, or like since she has to draw the backgrounds, and I know you're right. So it's gonna be set in the middle of the Pacific, and I don't really want to say more because I'd be spoiling so much of it, so just read it when it's done. And speaking of reading it, I know, awesome transition, you know. It's gonna be on Webtoon once it's done. Of course, I'll have to format it into the whole Webtoon line format thing as a long form comic. I'll do that sometime once I'm done. And it's hopefully gonna happen soon. I'm looking at January or February. Hopefully January, because that'd be quicker, but you never know with me. You really never know. I can just pull out anything. It just might not get done, so you know, your expectations are probably like pretty high up. You know, just bump them down a little. Just like 5 steps down. And yeah, we'll be good to go. And I hope you guys are excited for this as I am, because I am truly very, very excited, nervous, scared, all of the emotions about this, since it's my first comic and it came out of nowhere, and it's just fun. It's a lot of fun to do, and the plot is really fun. I've been thinking about it a lot. I should stop rambling because I'll just start giving away spoilers, and I don't want to do that. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all next time. Ciao.